make on how this team has a chance to prepare to be ready in spring training to make that march to the World Series.
Hey, Gooby, are you expecting a full slate of new coaching staff, or will there be some returners?
I thought for sure there'll be returners, but I don't know. I don't know that right now. Really, when you think about it as a manager coming in, you want to have your staff together where you're comfortable with. But you also, as an organization, you want to have some people there that dealt with some of the younger players, which we'll probably see sometimes during the season, whether it's a couple of young pitchers or a couple of those young position players. They're going to be making their mark with the Angels at some point this year. If not this year, it'll be next year. So they might see some people from the organization, too, as far as the coaching staff. I have no inside information on who possibly would be any of the coaches. But, you know, I'd love to see some of the guys come back because they're all good friends. But at this moment, I don't know if that's going to be the case.
Gooby, let me go back to something you mentioned. This past season, you had many interesting conversations with Brad Ausmus. So while you're talking baseball with Brad Ausmus throughout the 2018 season, did it ever occur to you, no, wait a minute, this guy is really, really smart. No wonder he managed the Tigers for 4 years, and this guy might make a really good manager for the Halos when Soch decides to call it a day.
Yeah, I mean, I was never thinking that Soch wasn't going to be back for this upcoming season. I would assume that very similar, and I joked around about with Bud Black, same thing. He worked as an assistant for Billy Epler, and lo and behold, he goes to Colorado, and he has a ton of success over there. You know, smart minds adjust to everything that's evolving in sports, and we know about the whole analytic world, but also know, he mentioned the human factor and knowing the game and being a three-time Gold Glover and an All-Star. He knows the game. As a catcher, you know the game, you know how to handle a pitching staff, which generally puts you in position to win when you do that. So the times we talked, I felt that he was thinking in terms of just staying out there, keeping his name out there, and at some point if another job opened up, then he would be in position to succeed this time around. A.J. Hintz, perfect example. You know, his first time around with the Diamondbacks didn't go real well. But look what it's done now with the Astros. You know, Joe Torre, first time or two times around. Now he's in the Hall of Fame. So in the Roots, same thing. A lot of these managers are first time through as a manager. You learn things. And Brad to have an opportunity to sit with Billy Epler and the whole analytic department and know what the ways to be able to put your team in the best position to win is something that he learned even more so. Even though he knew it, he's a numbers guy anyhow. He's a Dartmouth guy. He knows numbers. But the game is evolving even more so than when he first started as a manager. And it's the necessity to be able to evolve into that where you're listening to everybody, but your team and your players in that great position to win.
Gooby, number one off-season priority for our Halos should be?
Pitching, lots of pitching. Because I think you have to start with your starting depth. You need some help. You have some good arms in there that prove that they're really, really quality arms in there, especially when you look at, you know, Andrew Heaney, what strides he made, Jaime Barria, what he did, Tyler Skaggs, what he did. So you're trying to get some other guys healthy, stay healthy. But I think you're in the position now where you're thinking about winning, and you got to make sure you have a starting staff that's going to be healthy, and then you got to add in. We saw a couple really good power arms down in the bullpen emerging late that you got to add on to that. Games are won and lost a lot now. You're seeing that 6th, 7th, and 8th inning before you even get to the 9th. So depth throughout as far as the pitching staff, and you're going to see some of those young guys, whether it's Griffin Canning or Suarez, being involved in that equation before too long, but you want to let them get that experience, whether it's AAA or start out in the bullpen this upcoming season for the Angels. There's some hope there, but you got to add on some arms. You can't just hope the guys stay healthy. You got to bring in guys that will be healthy.
Do you start thinking maybe a veteran guy who can come in and be an innings eater? Maybe you have to give him a 2 or 3 year deal, but in the back of your mind you're thinking, just get us through 2020 until hopefully. And by the way, Gooby, what's the situation with G-Rich? Not under contract as we're having this conversation, correct?
No, and I've texted him a bunch of times. Everything is going well for him. I don't really know what direction, you know, the Angels and or Garrett is going to go at this moment. I mean, he's not going to pitch next year.
Right.
So do they sign into a 2-year deal, give them whatever for this year, and then next year with a lot of, the following year, I should say, with incentive-based possible. But, again, you have to think in terms of, I want the best players right now on the team, and I think that's what you're looking at as far as the Angels to be in position to get back to the postseason, because you just never know at that point. No one expected Atlanta to win their division, and they won the NL East. Everyone thought Washington was a lock, or the Mets were going to get in there, but that wasn't the case. Nobody really thought, well, Colorado could back it up again. They backed it up with a really good run themselves. So, and nobody for sure thought Milwaukee was quite ready, because they have a lot of talent in their farm system, but they were thought maybe a year or two away. Now they're going to be a formidable club for a lot of years. They got the young players and some veterans around there.
Gooby, what's a bigger need for our Halos as we're having this little chat? Behind the plate or second base?
Well, that's a pretty good question. I think behind the plate. I mean, I think you can mix and match. David Fletcher was fantastic, and he really opened up a lot of eyes. And he's the perfect guy where, when we talked and heard Brad Austin talking at that human element, where you can do some things to score runs, otherwise, without having to hit a ball out of the ballpark. He's that type of guy. Behind the plate, though, that's something you have to address. And, the guys who, filled in after Martin was moved over to Houston were pretty solid. But I think if you look for a guy that's going to play 100-some games, I think you might have to look elsewhere. And then supplement with one of those backup catchers as your guy is going to give you 40, 50 games in that backup role.
Are you expecting J.C. Ramirez back and Alex Meyer in 2019?
Both. And J.C., I talked to him at the he looked great. He was there today. Alex Meyer, the same thing. Again, you look at 4 depth. Now, especially in the case of Alex Meyer, will he be ready to make the team at a spring training? Well, we'll wait and see on that. But it gives them depth because, as you know, every team is tested as far as their pitching depth. Obviously, the Angels will more so than any other team with all the injuries and Tommy John surgeries. But I expect JT for sure competing, whether it's a starter or a guy in the bullpen, because he can give you multiple innings. And that's what we're seeing in the game of baseball. You need some guys in your bullpen to give you multiple innings, and he can do that.
Gooby, you think that Billy Epler lobs in a phone call to Mike Trout maybe at the Eagles game over the weekend and says, hey, look, we're going to bring in Brad Ausmus. What are your thoughts? Definitely.
Well, you have to. I mean, it's like the Lakers doing something and not talking to LeBron James about that. It's just, your star player has to be involved in the conversation, always. And I'm sure Billy did that, and Trout, Trout's all about winning. He wants a chance. And baseball and Angel fans, SoCal baseball fans, need Trout in the postseason. And you got to see what he can do in those big moments. Because, man, I'll tell you, there's been some really great moments already in the postseason. And I fully expect to see that in the World Series also.
Who wins the World Series, Gooby?
I got the Dodgers winning in 6 this year. I think the Astros were, a worse matchup for the Dodgers. Although the Red Sox are playing great and they've had an unbelievable season, they got great depth. I think the bullpen for the Red Sox, even though it's been good, I think when you're dealing with some of those bats coming off the bench or during the game for the Dodgers, it's going to be a tough matchup for them.
Mark Guba's, of course, part of the Angel broadcast team. Gooby, before you leave me, give me one thing Angel fans should be really excited about right now.
Right now, I think the energy level is great right now with the club, where they're going forward. And I think with having the 2 best players on the planet going right now with Trout and Ohtani's going to be ready to go along with Anderson Simmons, this club will do something special. We said that last year, remember, and look what they did. They brought in Shohei Ohtani. I think you're going to see that, and maybe something even more amazing for this club on the rate on the short term as far as changing the course of this club by an addition or 2. It's really going to get the fans really excited about this club going into 2019.
Gooby, you're awesome. Truly appreciate the time. I know you worked all day on television. Thanks for working me in, and I promise not to bug you unless we sign a big-time free agent.
For you, the world, Roger, as I'm going back and get ready for Halloween, man, I'll be thinking about you.
Are you dressing up?
I always do. I always do.
Come on, give us a preview. What are you dressing as?
No. It's always got to be a surprise and a shock, all at the same time.
Guess we'll all have to find out on Twitter together. Gooby, thank you so much, my friend.
You got it, Roger. Anytime, man.
Mark Guba's a part of the Angel broadcast team. Don't go anywhere. More of the Sports Lodge, including today's press conference. Don't want to miss that. Brad Osmus is our new Halo skipper. See you in a minute. Roger Lodge here for the Winery, Restaurant and Wine Bar. And if you're looking for a business lunch or memorable night out, visit the Winery in Newport Beach or the District in Tustin. Executive Chef Yvonne Getz and the staff are committed to award-winning cuisine and service. They are known for 5-star dining awards, the USA Today Top 10 wine list in the country, and Chef of the Year. And you can now join them for Sunday brunch in Newport Beach. Log on to thewineryrestaurant.net.
Ram Power Days have arrived, just in time for football tailgating season. And with the all-new Ram 1500, you'll have Hall of Fame power on game day. Now, while qualified lessees of competitive vehicles get a low-mileage lease on the all-new 2019 Ram 1500 Big One Crew Cab 4x2 for $249 a month for 36 months with $3,999 due at signing. Tax, title, license extra. Call 1-877-RAM-5722 for details. Requires dealer contribution and lease through U.S. Bank. 25-cent charge for each mile over 30,000. Residency restrictions apply. See delivered by 10/31/18.
The 7th annual Fall Flooring Yard Sales going on now at your Los Angeles Lumber Liquidators. We've got hundreds of floors up to 50% off, in stock and ready to go. Save big on waterproof floors, all on sale from just 39 cents. Get wood-look laminate flooring, all on sale up to 40% off. Pre-finished hardwood from 99 cents plus special financing. Get to the Fall Flooring Yard Sale today. Visit lumberliquidators.com to find a Los Angeles store near you.
Center.
It's autumn, and prices are falling during our once-a-year fall savings event. Going on now in every Irvine Auto Center store.
I got mine in Irvine.
Fall savings and special financing, and over 10,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. Shop IrvineAutoCenter.com or come visit us just minutes away in Irvine.
Irvine Auto Center.
Yeah, you, it's me, your heart. Listen to me. We've got to talk. High blood pressure is serious, and yours? Whoa. What happened to us? We used to be so much more active, but lately you've been ignoring me. I know you think I'm just going to keep taking away forever, but you're wrong. You can do so much more to control your high blood pressure. Doing the minimum isn't doing enough. I'm under a lot of pressure and can quit whenever I want. Bet you didn't know that. But I like my job. Just treat me better. Check on me. Give me something green to nibble on every once in a while. And maybe we can do some exercise on occasion. Let's get to it. After all, we're in this together.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. High blood pressure can lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get your blood pressure to a healthy range before it's too late. Find out how at heart.org/blood pressure. Check, change, control. A message from the American Heart Association, the American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
Imagine being denied an apartment because of your religion, or your race, or because you have children, or a disability.
It's so wrong.
Yes, but who has the power to stop this?
You do. Each of us has the power. The law is on your side. It's illegal for landlords to discriminate because of race, color, religion, sex, national origin, disability, or familial status. If you suspect that you have experienced housing discrimination, file a complaint with HUD immediately so we can investigate it. Fair housing is your right.
Use it.
To learn more, visit HUD.gov/fairhousing. That's HUD.gov/fairhousing. Or call 1-800-669-9777. 1-800-669-9777. A public service message from HUD in partnership with the National Fair Housing Alliance.
You'll tuned into the Sports Lodge with Roger Lodge, and we're glad you found us on AM830 KLAA, Orange County, Los Angeles, Inland Empire. ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Jim Basketball, still looking for the first points of Monday Night Football second quarter. Falcons-Giants, a scoreless two quarterbacks, Eli Manning and Matt Ryan, have combined to hit 18 of 20 passes. But again, neither has found the end zone. Neither has split the uprights. There's goose eggs on the scoreboard. Cowboys today looking to bolster their offense, picking up Amari Cooper from the Oakland Raiders. They give up a 2019 first-round pick, meaning the Raiders will have a trio of first-rounders in that 2019 draft. Cooper just 22 grabs for 280 yards and a touchdown through the first 6 games of the season this year. Bucs linebacker Quan Alexander out for the season, torn ACL, and Jaguars coach Doug Marrone said today Blake Bortles will remain the team starter against Philadelphia in London. Game 1 starters for the World Series, which gets underway tomorrow night. ESPN Radio, ESPN app coverage, 7 Eastern. Clayton Kershaw for the Dodgers, Chris Sale for the Red Sox. Kershaw on the impact of his Game 1 assignment for the fact that he closed out the NLCS.
No, it's fine. Obviously, it was somewhat of a normal inning, which was good, and tried to throw as few pitches as possible in the bullpen before. So, obviously, intensity is different and things like that, but, that's why I came here yesterday to make sure everything was good, and it should be good.
Gets caught up on some NBA. The Orlando Magic in Boston up 10 on the seas, 75-65, late stages of the third. Also in the third quarter, Toronto up a dozen on Charlotte, while New York and Milwaukee play late second. Bucks up 63-48.
The 7th-ranked Georgia Bulldogs face the 9th-ranked Florida Gators, and the party will be rocking in Jacksonville this weekend. Coverage begins Saturday at 2:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN. Presented by Dr. Pepper.
The Ducks are back for their historic 25th season right here on AM830 KLAA. On a break in, shoots, he scores! Every play and goal is right here all season on your home for Anaheim Ducks hockey. Fire, score! It's the Ducks at the Chicago Blackhawks tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. on Ducks Radio, AM830 KLAA.
Hey, Halo Hawks, you're dialed into the Sports Lodge with Roger Lodge on your home for Angels baseball. Angels Radio, AM830 KLAA. Now your host, Roger Lodge.
Hey, welcome back to the Sports Lodge on a rather manic Monday around here, to say the least. 1 o'clock this afternoon in the Diamond Club, of the house that the Cowboy built that Artie's made even better, a.k.a. the Big A. The Angels officially announced the hiring of the 17th manager in Angel baseball history. Vice President of Communications, Tim Meade, got it all started.
Welcome to this afternoon's press conference introducing Brad Osmus as the club's new field manager. Before we hear from General Manager Billy Epler and Brad, we have a few special introductions. First, on stage to my far left, Liz and Brad Osmus, General Manager Billy Epler, and owner Artie Marino. Also joining us today are several members of the Angels family. We're pleased to have with us Club President John Carpino and Club Chairman Dennis Kuhl. Two big arms we missed an awful lot last season, Keenan Middleton and J.C. Ramirez. Former Angels and current broadcasters Mark Gubaza and Mark Langston. And FSW broadcasters Jose Mota and Patrick O'Neill. Clyde Wright, the owner of the Angels' second no-hitter, and 2002 World Series champion Adam Kennedy. A member of the Angels Hall of Fame and the most successful left-hander in club history, Chuck Finley. And also Hall of Famer, Angels Hall of Famer Bobby Grich. At this time, we thank you all for joining us on this very special day. I'd like to call to the podium Angels General Manager Billy Epler.
Afternoon. A few weeks ago, we began interviewing candidates for our managerial opening. Our goal when constructing our interview process was to get as complete a view of each person as possible. We sought to assess how they communicated, how they connected with other people, and understand their approach to developing and maintaining a team-first winning culture. We evaluated their ability to problem solve, to make effective decisions in the dugout, and their philosophies on coaching, teaching, and leading. Lastly, and in many respects, most importantly, we assessed their adaptability and eagerness to continually grow and develop in the role. Make no mistake, our goal here is to win, year in and year out. And to do that, we have to take a process-based approach in everything that we do. Throughout our entire baseball operation, it is our belief in a highly competitive and constantly evolving environment. Adaptable people with growth mindsets are essential to our long-term success. In our year working with Brad and throughout the interview process, we saw someone who possessed an exceptional combination of the qualities that we were looking for in our next manager. His curiosity, his competitiveness, and his knowledge showed us that he was the right person for the job. With that said, I would like to introduce Brad Osmus as our manager. Brad, would you please come to the podium? And Artie?
Thank you very much. I'm very excited to be, I can't say be a member of the Angels organization because I have been for a year, but I'm very excited to be the manager of the Los Angeles Angels. So I'd like to thank Artie, Billy, John, the entire baseball operations staff who's here right now, who I've gotten to know over the course of the year. And I'm just absolutely thrilled to be back in Southern California where I've lived for the last 25 years. And I don't have to worry about rainouts too much. And I'd like to thank Keenan Middleton for having my back as president. I'm not interested in politics, Key, but I do appreciate it. Like Billy had mentioned, adaptability is something that's very important to the Angels. And part of the reason I came to the Angels was because I needed to adapt. Analytics is part of the game, and I have an understanding of analytics. I had an understanding before I arrived here. I had been using numbers to create scouting reports since about the year 2000, long before analytics were in vogue, when the information was a lot more vague and a little more raw. And so during the off season, Billy, I'm sure, did his due diligence on me going into the 2018 season. And invited me to be a part of his staff as a special assistant. I, doing my due diligence on Billy Epler, checked on his background because I didn't really know Billy too well. But I knew where he came from, and I knew the organization that he came from was heavily analytic, and that they used the numbers to make their players and their teams better. And I think that's the important thing. So I had to adapt. And part of the reason I was looking forward to joining Billy on his staff in the baseball operations department was because I wanted to find out more about how we can help players on the field be better, how we can help teams win. This is why we're here. We're here to win baseball games. I mean, Artie's made it clear since he's taken over this organization that winning is the important thing. We want a championship. I spent 18 years as a player, 4 years as a manager, and I do not have a World Series ring. I want a World Series ring. That's very important to me. And that's going to be the goal. I'm not going to care what the pundits say. My message to the players is win today. I don't care what happened yesterday. I don't care what people say we're going to do or what other teams are going to do. I care about the Los Angeles Angels, and I care about winning today. And if we do that every single day, we're going to be just fine. Again, I'm very excited. To have an opportunity to lead a club like this with some of the players I appreciate the guys that have come out. And, just going forward, it's going to be, we're going to, in the next few weeks, put together a coaching staff. I'm sure there'll be questions about that. I don't have answers on it. We're going to be putting together a coaching staff. We're going to have a plan for spring training. We're going to use some of these things that I talked about, and some of those are numbers-based. But in the end, baseball is played by human beings, and we can't ever forget that. We use the numbers and apply them to humans, and hopefully we make them a better player and a better team. Thank you.
Okay, at this time, for the members of the media, we'd like to open it up for questions. We have 2 microphones available, so if you would please wait for the microphone, raise your hand, and before you ask your question, if you would introduce yourself, please.
James Allen, Angels Radio AM830. You said you've been with the organization for a year and you've had a chance to, see the team and what they have to offer. But what was the most intriguing part about the job and not only just the players, but the organization that helped you make a decision?
So the job crossed a bunch of sections in the organization. Player development, amateur scouting, pro scouting, on the field with the big league club, especially during spring training. One of my favorite parts of baseball is the camaraderie and the people, so I enjoyed being around some of the big league guys when I was in the clubhouse around the field in spring training, and I enjoyed being around the guys in the minor leagues. I visit all the minor league affiliates in our system. I've gotten to know a lot of the minor league players. It's a little bit of a unique situation in the sense that I really do know the people in the organization, whether it's the people in the front office or the minor league staff or the clubhouse guy in the instructional league. I've met them all. It's kind of a unique organization, and it makes me very comfortable being here because it's the same faces and the same names that I knew 6 months ago.
Jeff Fletcher, Orange County Register. Brad, when you look at your time managing the Tigers and the guy you were then, how do you compare to what you are now, and what would you like to do differently?
Well, I'm not going to get into specifics of what I would do differently, but there's no question that experience is an asset. I think in every walk of life, experience is an asset. And in managing, whether you experience something in the clubhouse or you experience something tactically on the field, rather than having to reconsider it, it becomes a little more reflexive, and you can react to it, and you have an understanding what the end result will be if you don't react quickly or properly. So I know and part of the reason I was actually hired in Detroit was the new wave hired the young manager with no experience that can relate to the players. But the truth of the matter is, experience helps you everywhere, and if you can still relate to players and have experience as a manager, I don't understand how it can't be an asset.
Years for Phillies. ESPN's Adam Schefter says some in the NFL not exactly stunned.
As one head coach texted, it's not a surprise. When you're away from football and you're not staying in football shape, that's very different than being in shape.